that's pretty much it. If you guys have any questions about the material, thanks very much. Any questions at all about anything? Feel free to ask questions.
I know you guys mainly went over like the sleep cycle, like the full 9 hours of sleep. But I know there's different sleep cycles. Like they have like the basically, you sleep for a shorter amount and then you take naps throughout the day or something like that. Do you guys study any of that, or like?
Do you mean like people who sleep like kind of short bouts during the nighttime, but during the day they have like siesta, like kind of?
Yeah, the siesta, the sleep cycle.
We briefly learned about that. We don't really know which one is better for us. This is basically, we abide by this one, the long bout at night, because this is how Western society has kind of evolved to go to bed at a certain time, wake up. The Industrial Revolution kind of spurred this movement. But the other ones, people, they seem fine. You see all the sleep disorders that we have in America, really, really high numbers of disorders. So maybe there is something wrong with the way we're sleeping. Maybe sleeping shorter during the nighttime and more naps during the daytime.
Okay.
Yeah. Any other questions?
Also, if you have questions about like transferring or anything like that, questions about Berkeley or any other questions about sleep, definitely welcome to ask.
I know you didn't really touch on it, but one of the guys you were talking about said during his dream he came up with these ideas. And I've been kind of experimenting with lucid dreaming and things like that. Do you guys know anything about how that impacts your sleep, or that's beneficial?
The lucid dreams themselves?
Yeah.
What's really interesting is lucid dreamers, certain parts of their brain that are active. Say you're performing a task during the day and you're going to use your hand to write something. This part of your brain is going to be active. It's going to light up in this test that they do. You can see that this brain part is active during this. And when you're lucid dreaming, if the person in his dream, he's awake, consciously doing these things, but the body is asleep basically. If he's writing something during his sleep, that part of the brain that writes will actually be active. Really interesting. I don't know if it has anything to do with consolidation of sleep, meaning like how effective or thorough it is really.
My idea was like if you, like say, if you got efficient at lucid dreaming, and then you kind of like in your dream you were just visualizing yourself taking the spinal, sitting there visualizing, maybe like coming up with these questions or whatever it is, like how beneficial that would be. So when you like wake up and then actually do take the test, like if you would be more prepared or something.
A professor actually, one student asked them that question, similar question, do you lucid dream? Because this was after the discussion on it. And he said he just let sleep take its natural course. And this guy's a leading researcher in sleep, so I mean, this guy has some credence to it. But I mean, try it.
Yeah, to touch more on your question, because I actually did a research paper in high school about lucid dreaming, and like it's not, I didn't necessarily find like a piece of evidence that told me like lucid dreaming will absolutely help you, but one of the things that I did find out that was quite interesting was like, for example, if you're an athlete, and it'll help you with your muscle memory a lot. I feel like that's what lucid dreaming probably most likely helps you out with, is learning, if you learn like a particular task or you learn how to play a sport, and if you replay it in your head while you're dreaming, while you're lucid dreaming, because obviously you can take control over your dream. So say for example you play football or something, like you could continually run the play over and over and over and over again in your head and in your dream, So that could potentially help you out like that, but yeah.
Yeah, in regards to that I've actually found that to be actually something that's true. I haven't tried lucid dreaming, but I have slept from just coming back from playing basketball and going straight to sleep, right? And I found myself dreaming of me actually in the NBA, and when I actually go back on the court, right? It goes from a dream into kind of like a memory. Exactly. Where, I remember what exactly I was doing, and I feel way more confident on the court, and I find myself actually doing way better than I would, normally when I'm actually second guessing my shot or second guessing my layup or anything like that. Exactly. So yeah, I don't think that's really interesting.
Yeah, so I think, like you were mentioning earlier about your exam, I feel like if you visualize yourself acing your exam and doing really well, it's obviously, it's not going to happen by magic if you don't to study, you know what I mean? Like you definitely have to study, like learn the material. But if you learn the material, study, prepare for it, and then while you're dreaming, or say for example you're lucid dreaming and you visualize yourself like walking into the classroom, like seeing the exam, like maybe you've come up with practice problems yourself. You know, you visualize yourself like, hey, I'm gonna ace it, I'm gonna do well, and you know, like I guess that's kind of related. Well, not necessarily, but this is something I always say, like about the law of attraction. If you stay positive and if you have positivity around you, you have good vibes and like you feel good about yourself and about things that you're involved in, then more positive things are going to come your way. So, you know, that's all. What I say is just like stay positive. If you believe, if you want to accomplish something, like never, like don't doubt yourself. Like you know, always believe that you have the ability and capacity to, you know, to achieve whatever it is you want to achieve. So,
For sure.
yeah.
This is a question for all four of you. So since you've been learning about this whole semester, have you actually put these things into practice?
So there are certain things that I do. I'm probably terrible at this. Midterms week a couple weeks ago, my story was I went from Sunday to Wednesday without sleeping. I had about 3 hours of sleep actually.
Dang.
So one thing I actually do now is I don't pull all night. So I just had an accounting final or an accounting test today, and I'll make sure I get 3 hours of sleep before, like regardless of what I'm doing. I'll stop and make sure I get 3 hour nap before I have to do anything else. I don't know how effective it is. I mean, I killed my accounting final today and I was bombing tests a few weeks ago, so I mean, it works for me. I just, after seeing this and especially like the ability to focus. So, I mean, this whole week, that whole week that I was messed up, I probably slept like less than 15 hours from Sunday to Friday. And I was just bombing test after test. Like, it was just gradually getting worse throughout the week. And then, so now I make sure like, man, I need at least 3 hours of sleep. Like, so I had 3 hours of sleep last night. I feel like a machine. Like, I feel awesome. But I mean, you're talking to a guy that, yeah, I could go days without sleeping.
That's not
So,
recommended, no.
yeah, I'm terrible. Like, I'm one of the worst ones. But I do try to do certain things. Like, I have an electronic curfew for myself because I know how everybody else is, right? Like, if you see my phone is giant, right? Like, I got an iPad, I got a computer, all my stuff is on before I go to bed. So now I have an electronic curfew where I shut everything off. Hey, like I need to go to bed. I do try to implement as many of the things that I can. Is it realistic that I'll get like 7-9 hours of sleep? Probably not. Like, I don't think I slept that much since, I don't know, ever. But it's definitely increasing. I definitely try to increase my sleep. It's probably gone from like 3 to 5 hours.
I do a wind down routine. I try to now. I try to read something really mellow instead of being on the computer and Facebook. Turn the computer off and then jump into bed. That stopped working and I stopped being honest. So this new way of learning is kind of.
I try not to drink at least a week before the exam. If it's like 10 days, I'm fine. But I noticed that if I drink like a few days before exam, I'd still do well, but not as well as I would have done if I was sober.
Actually, to elaborate on that point, off the record, actually, this past month, I think it was maybe a month and a half ago, I had an exam for Psych 101, which is like a stats class for psychology, and I was ready for my exam. I had the exam on Thursday. I had been preparing for the exam for like a week before. I had been studying. I knew all the material, all the equations. Like, I was solid. I was ready to go. Like, there's no way I'm not gonna get an A, right? But the night before, I decided to drink because my friends invited me out. So I was like, okay, I'll just have a couple beers. I literally only had like probably like two or three beers, no more than 3 beers. And the next day, like I felt good. Like I didn't feel like I was impaired in any way at all. But when I got my results back, I ended up getting a B, and I was like, how did this happen? And like, I was actually studying with this guy.
We studied together the entire time, so we knew exactly the same material. And not to brag, but I got the highest A I've ever gotten on that test.
Yeah, he did. I was like, Ryan, how did you get? I was even teaching him some of the things. I was like, how did you get better grade? But I mean, I can't use that as an excuse, but that's just something that like it kind of showed me that it definitely has an impact on your ability to perform. So that's why like we wanted to definitely make a point of that. But in terms of like me sleeping, I try to get as much sleep as I can, but it's like so hard. Sometimes like you just can't do it. Like you're super busy, you have class, there's other things, or like teenagers, not teenagers, like young adults right now. not only school, there's other things that we're involved in, and sometimes you just don't have enough time to get those 9 hours. I definitely couldn't get 9 hours on a consistent basis, but if I definitely have the opportunity to, like for example on weekends or during the breaks, like for example just this past Thanksgiving break, I definitely try to like shoot for at least a solid 8 hours throughout the whole break, and I feel good. But right now I'm like kind of sleep deprived, but it's all right. Like, but I mean the main takeaway message I would give you is just like really like just consider the fact that sleep is absolutely crucial for you, and it's not a commodity. Like, so I feel like sometimes people are like, you don't need sleep, like come on, like you're losing, yeah, you're like you're
Sleep when you're
your
dead.
opportunity to like to do something important. You know, like you may lose like the chance for achieve success or something. Because I saw this like motivational video where it gets you really motivated, but then it starts talking about how you don't need sleep, and I'm like, nah. Like, you were thumbs up up until that one, but once you said like you don't need sleep, like no, you actually do need sleep. Sleep's absolutely crucial. Like, I'm already feeling the effects right now because I'm going through like Hell Week at a fraternity, and like I'm like running on like 2 hours of sleep for the past like 2 nights. So it's like I feel I mean I can't really say if I feel impaired right now, but probably I would be compared
It's
to
like it's like legally drunk. If you have
yeah, technically. No, see, yeah, we didn't have like a slide on that, but what after like 16 hours of no wait no it's
22 hours, 16
oh yeah sorry
hours.
yes after 16 hours that's when your ability to like focus and like your cognitive ability like gets really decreased. But if you stay awake for 22 hours, that's your ability to pay attention is as impaired as if you were like legally drunk. So
Yeah, and couple that with driving. If you're really tired of driving, be very careful. Especially if you're really tired of a drink, you're still under the legal limit, and you're driving, it's detrimental. Very dangerous.
yeah, if you have any other questions, let us know. And also, if, like you know, if you want to contact us later about if you have any other questions about sleep or just like transferring in general, if you want to come out to like Berkeley and just hang out or whatever, like that's fine. Let us know.
Awesome. Thank you all so much. You've been very informative. So.
Thank you.